Now we will try to understand about what is this NPR. So when we have done the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, that is CAA, we know that in news alongside that was also about the NPR and the NRC issues. So both of these topics I'll take up in two different videos so that we have a comprehensive understanding of how are they also related to this topic of citizenship, to the topic of citizens, etc. So as you see the name here, it says National Population Register, that is NPR, which means firstly it will be related to India. The population is going to be considered here and a register is going to be maintained. Now you have to be very, very clear about the precise definition, understanding and slight differences between different terms. Firstly, let's see what is this NPR. अगर हमें ये समझना है कि ये NPR आखिर है क्या, so we can say that this NPR is actually a comprehensive identity database. So that register which is being talked about here, एक database की तरह उसको create किया जाएगा and that will be dealing with the comprehensive identity of the persons. Now the question is that who is going to be maintaining this, ठीक है? So that is going to be maintained by the Registrar General. So you will get the prelims and the mains pointer, all of that in this one lecture only. And Census Commissioner of India under Ministry of Home Affairs. This also you have to remember. So basically, अगर हमको define करना है, so how do we define this NPR or let's say this register? So we will say that it is a register of usual residents. Above, when I was talking about this database, I said database of people, identity maintaining of people. But people, what kind of people? So register of usual residents of country. Okay? And it is going to be prepared at different levels: local level, sub-district level, district level, state level, and of course the national level. Now the question is कि ये जो usual resident term इन्होंने use किया है, the term that they have used here as the usual resident, what does that imply? अब यहाँ पे we will be taking the exact definition, the official definition that is being given. So usual resident according to MHA, Ministry of Home Affairs, has been defined as somebody. So this usual resident would be somebody who has been residing in a local area for at least 6 months. ठीक है? किसी local area में the person already has been a resident for at least 6 months or intends to. So either the person is already stayed or has been a resident, or the person intends to stay in a particular location for next 6 months. So either already spent 6 months in an area or planning to spend coming 6 months in an area. Any kind of a person would be called a usual resident. Now from here only you can very clearly understand that it is not about the citizens of India. You have done the concept of citizenship, so you know who are the citizens of India. It is just about that the person has been a resident in that area for whatsoever reasons. Okay? So NPR is about the people who are just the resident. Okay? Population के लिए, वो population can include citizen, non-citizens also. But when we'll do NRC in the coming video, so that will be your National Register for Citizens. So that is about citizens. This is not about citizens. This is about any usual resident, and that resident could be anybody. Now the question is, why did they feel that there is a need for this, or there is an importance attached to this? क्यों हमें इसकी ज़रूरत है? ठीक है? So if you just have certain pointers. related to the need of NPR. Let's just broadly try to get some idea about it. Firstly, that it will help us get a database. ठीक है, एक बहुत ही कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव हमारे पास डेटाबेस तैयार हो जाएगा फॉर ऑल द रेसिडेंट्स लिविंग इन इंडिया in a particular region. Comprehensive database would be ready. With this, what we can also do is to track the foreigners, क्योंकि हमें पता होगा कि द पर्सन इज़ नॉट अ सिटीज़न ऑफ इंडिया, तो वी कैन एक्चुअली चेक कि उनका वीज़ा अवेलेबल है, पासपोर्ट है, नहीं है, रेसिडेंसी स्टेटस क्या है, एट्सेट्रा एट्सेट्रा, बिकॉज नॉट ऑल द फॉरेनर्स आर फॉर गुड पर्पस इन द कंट्री. ठीक है, इसमें बहुत सारे रिस्की फैक्टर्स भी होते हैं. सो ऑल ऑफ दैट कुड get some lead because of this. Then also it will help us identify the illegal migrants जिसको लेके सारा issues रहता है. ठीक है, and we can differentiate them that who are the legal people living here. Then if we have got the list of our people, ठीक है, तो it will be helping us in welfare schemes, government's welfare schemes, क्योंकि उसमें they target certain beneficiaries. ठीक है, they have fixed set of beneficiaries for every welfare scheme, different set of beneficiaries for every welfare schemes. So in that case, it would be like very, very easy for us to have a comprehensive database and then, try to give them the benefit of that particular welfare scheme. उसके अलावा if there is any marginalized community, we can go for their socio-economic development because they will be also identified based on this. So for any marginalized community, welfare schemes हो गया, तो it will also help us to alleviate the poverty. So it will anyways directly indirectly help us in the poverty alleviation. And when we will here, let's say, track the foreigners, so if we will have any hostile alien, we have done about it, so record of the hostile aliens would also be kept here easily if all of this is done. But is it like that easy? Of course not. There has been challenges associated to it, issues associated to it, and it's not being easily done. And there are you would say the people who are contradicting it कि ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. So there are multiple issues. कुछ implementation related हैं, कुछ in general issues हैं. So let's try and see certain issues. Firstly, that we have a very large scale of population, and to survey them is not that easy. ठीक है, that would require a lot of like resources, manpower, time, energy, all of that is going to be consumed, and it's not that easy. So large scale population का survey is not that feasible as it just sounds. Then of course, let's say जहाँ पर कि documentation की बात आती है, so there might be issue with certain people because documentation issues are anyways prevalent. People are not easily certain set of people are not having easily access to the documents, or let's say they have lost this, they do not have it, etc, etc. There could be like a number of reasons related to documentation. Then there can be issues of, let's say, duplication. ठीक है, या फिर किसी तरीके का कुछ मिसकाउंटिंग हो गया, कुछ भी हो सकता है. इस तरीके के एरर्स जो हैं, इनकी पॉसिबिलिटीज़ हमेशा रहती है. उसके अलावा डेफिनेटली जब यहाँ पर सर्वे की बात की थी, तो आई हैव टोल्ड यू मल्टीपल इश्यूज़ रिलेटेड टू इट, लाइक ईदर यू कॉस्ट हो गया, अदर रिसोर्सेज हो गए, एट्सेट्रा. तो उन सब का जो प्रॉब्लम है वो है ही सेंटर स्टेट रिलेशंस में हमेशा, बिकॉज as I just told you that it is going to be conducted at different levels. So you need the center state coordination, but that is not always very good in the case of India. Like we have certain challenges associated to that also. So center state coordination and that to very full cooperation would be needed. उसके अलावा जो है data privacy concerns, because if you know, we have got a right to privacy as a fundamental right, and that was declared by the Supreme Court and put to Swami judgment 2017 में. So data privacy issue जो है वो हमेशा इसके साथ जुड़ा रहेगा. उसके अलावा जो है, it is also said that this is assumed of course, but then you never know like what is going to happen, कि it might be possible that because of this duplication or error जो है, some genuine citizens may be left out. एंड देन डॉक्यूमेंटेशन जो एरर्स हैं या इश्यूज़ हैं, उसकी वजह से ये भी हो सकता है कि देन व्हाट अबाउट, लेट्स से पीपल लाइक बेगर्स, या फिर पीपल हु आर होमलेस, या फिर पीपल हु आर माइग्रेंट्स, जिनके पास प्रॉपर डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं होगा दिखाने के लिए. ठीक है, तो देयर कुड बी एन नंबर ऑफ इश्यूज़ जो कि आप यहाँ से relate कर सकते हो. And another issue is this is also said that in future, now this is one point that is actually taken both as a positive and negative, that in future this will help create NRC in future, National Register of Citizens. in क्यों? Because यहाँ पे आपने segregate कर लिया, you have segregated the residents in a manner that okay, these are the citizens and these are the non-citizens. So when you have to do this in future, let's say, तो ये comprehensive हो जाएगा. But some people are in favor of this, so they consider to be a positive point, that yes, this will be helpful. But some people consider this to be negative, therefore this whole issue becomes a negative one for them. So multiple angles are there definitely. Then if we talk about what are the other details related to this NPR, for example, what kind of a data they are going to cover, etc. See, firstly, we already know that the issues related to citizenship are dealt under the Citizenship Act 1955. Okay? And then there is a rule also, Citizenship Rules 2003, that has a very big name, so I'll just write that for you. So one is your Citizenship Act 1955, another is your Citizenship Registration of Citizens and Issue of National ID Card Rules, okay, 2003. Now based on the provision of these two, we have got this idea of NPR. अब आपको ये तो बता ही दिया कि कौन कंडक्ट कराता है, द रजिस्ट्रार जनरल, ये तो आपने देख ही लिया, एंड मिनिस्ट्री एसोसिएटेड इज होम अफेयर्स. ठीक है. नाउ व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अ डेटा इज गोइंग टू बी कवर्ड हियर. सो यहाँ पे आपका डेमोग्राफिक डेटा लाइक पॉपुलेशन रिलेटेड ऑल द डेटा प्लस योर बायोमेट्रिक, देयरफॉर डेटा प्रिवेसी जो है वो इश्यूज़ में आ रहा था ना, तो बायोमेट्रिक डेटा, योर बॉडी रिलेटेड डेटा इज़ ऑल्सो गोइंग टू बी कवर्ड हियर. ठीक है. अब बायोमेट्रिक डेटा का सारा जो है डिटेल वो कहाँ से आ जाएगा, आधार से आ जाएगा. ये तो है अपना डिफरेंट, इसमें भी टाइप्स है, आई थिंक समवेयर अराउंड 15 टाइप्स या कैटेगरीज जो हैं वो गिवन है. सो अकॉर्डिंगली दे विल आस्क यू अबाउट मल्टीपल क्वेश्चंस एक्सेट्रा. बट हियर डेटा प्राइवेसी जो है वो आधार को लेकर के इश्यूज़ हमेशा से रहा है. एंड अदर डिटेल्स आर ऑल्सो मैंडेटरी टू बी गिवन, लाइक पैन कार्ड हो गया, ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस हो गया, एट्सेट्रा. नाउ वेयर डू वी ट्रेस इट्स बैकग्राउंड. ठीक है. अगर हम एक थोड़ा बैकग्राउंड समझने की कोशिश करें कि ये एनपीआर का सारा आइडिया, सी दीज आर द प्रोविजंस फ्रॉम वेयर वी आर ड्रॉइंग दोज प्रोविजंस टू इम्प्लीमेंट इन द एनपीआर. बट बैकग्राउंड इसका कहाँ से आता है? बैकग्राउंड कम्स फ्रॉम जब कारगिल वार हुआ, ठीक है, 1999 में, तो उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि सम ग्रुप ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स दे रेकमेंडेड दैट देयर शुड बी अ registration and that too compulsory registration. ठीक है. किनका? all residents का. It is not about citizen only, I'm repeating, it is about residents in India, so that we are able to curb the illegal migration. We can identify the illegal migrants and then accordingly we can take steps for that. ठीक है. तो फिर एक बार 2010 में ये हो चुका है. NPR has happened 2010 में when the registrar general collected the data, and उस टाइम पर जो 2011 के जो सेंसस से डेटा मिलने वाला था उसके बेसिस पर, ठीक है, रजिस्ट्रार जनरल ने 2010 में डेटा कलेक्ट करा, देन 2011 सेंसस से भी वी गॉट द डेटा, तो उसको मिला के समहाउ जो है दे गॉट द डेटा ड्यूरिंग दिस ईयर, एंड उसको बाद में 2015 में अपडेट कर दिया गया. बट आफ्टर दैट इट हैड नॉट हैपन. अब यू नो दैट सेंसस जो है, ऑल्दो विल डू अ सेक्शनल सेंसस ऑल्सो, इज डन लाइक एवरी 10 years. तो 2011 के बाद 2021 में होना था, बस 21 का सेंसस हैड टू बी डिलेड बिकॉज ऑफ कोविड एंड एवरीथिंग. सो ऑफकोर्स थिंग्स गॉट डिलेड, देन इन बिटवीन वी गॉट CA, तो उससे रिलेटेड अब ये एनआरसी और NPR का इशूज़ भी आने लग गया. सो देयर वर प्रॉब्लम्स एसोसिएटेड टू इट. नाउ यू ऑल्सो हैव टू remember one point, that in this Amendment Act 1915, so there has been given certain pointers, or let's say there was a section that was inserted which itself says that the central government is allowed to have a compulsory register of every Indian citizen and they can issue the national identity card. So it's not something as such illegal. It can have its own set of challenges and issues, but it draws its background from an act. And also it is said that central government may maintain in that provision, one point is given that if the central government want, they may maintain a NRC also to establish a national authority and later, go ahead with that register. So here the idea is that this is something which has been in news, and there could be certain updations for the same, and therefore we'll have to be like very vigilant. Now that we have roughly got the background, it would not be that difficult for us if we have to in future relate these pointers to any news coming to us. So I'll be dealing with the other topics like NRC, censors, etc., etc. in the coming videos. See you guys there. Bye bye, take care.